We all love the sound of money, and a $1,500 sign-on bonus sounds even better. That's right, Pelletier Foods of Jackson is offering a $1,500 sign-on bonus to new employees. Receive an extra $100 your first 6 weeks, then $400 after day 90, and $500 after day 180. Don't wait. Apply online at beliciofoods.com/careers today. That's beliciofoods.com/careers. Come work for a company who truly values their employees. Come work for Pelletier Foods.
Show some love for the graduating seniors in your life with custom-made gear from Zip Printing in Jackson. Yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, and more. Zip Printing can do it all. Visit yourtotalmedia.shop to browse all of Zip's gear to show your school spirit for the class of 22. Zip also has everything you need for graduation parties like custom photo cards, invitations, and napkins. Call 740-286-3023 or find them on Facebook at Zip Printing Signs and Marketing.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV. And, of course, Jennifer here to start off your morning. Let's see, this is a Tuesday, isn't it?
It is.
It is.
Yes.
That means our good friend Ryan Pelletier is here, and we're going to talk about all kind of things today, aren't we?
We are.
You didn't know that.
I did not,
did
but I'm in it. I'm ready to go.
So welcome to the show. We're so happy to have you
Thank
here.
you, Jennifer. Thank you.
And you do so much in the city of Wellston, and I mean, as do a lot of people.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah,
a lot of folks there doing a lot, but you wear a lot of hats in the city of Wellston.
I do. Correct. I don't know if I just don't know how to say no, maybe?
Well, we're not sure whether he's real smart or real dumb. We haven't
That's
figured
right.
it out yet.
Yes.
Or just real gullible, one or the
Both.
other.
Both.
But no, so we wanted to talk, though, for a minute about, fire safety.
Sure.
And I know you were just on the radio, you were talking with Matt about the fact that, when we move these clocks up and down and spring forward and fall back
Right.
and all that stuff, that's the perfect opportunity to check, your batteries and your fire detector, smoke detectors, things like that. But also, let's talk for a minute about the things that you should have in your home and
sure.
We'll go from there.
Absolutely. So there are several things that
Chief of the Wellston Fire Department, just to let you know. If I just totally skipped over that part.
No, that's okay.
That's one of the hats.
One of the hats, right. That's what we're here to mainly talk about is the fire department. So obviously smoke detector, like you just mentioned.
Yeah. Seems like
important.
the most basic thing, but I'll bet you find a lot of homes that don't have them.
We do. We find a lot of homes that do not have smoke detectors. And the cool thing is a lot of smoke detectors now, they've changed like with technology, right?
Yes.
So what you and I had growing up would have been a battery that you would take it out if you burnt dinner, right? Because it would chirp. Or if you needed a remote control battery, you would take it from the smoke detector.
And it
Those
was
are all
like
bad
that
things.
big
Yes. Right.
block battery thing
Right.
that took up like the whole drawer.
Absolutely. So now you can purchase smoke detectors with what's called a 10-year battery.
Yes.
So you don't have to worry about it.
Yep.
And good thing that they did. I wonder if the smoke detector companies are in cahoots with the folks that are doing away with the time change. Do you think that might be?
I think that might be.
Might be what's happening. The time change thing is going away. Is that official?
I mean, I don't know that's official, but it's definitely been discussed more than I've ever heard before.
I know. So we're going to have to come up with a new slogan or a new way to remember to change
How
your
does
battery.
anyone going to remember to change their batteries?
Right. It's a big deal for us in the fire department. So, but no, these newer smoke detectors.
No, those are nice.
They are nice. You can pick them up relatively inexpensive. Those 10-year batteries are under $50.
Oh yeah.
But you can still pick up, a cheaper smoke detector that gets the job done, for under $10. You can find them at Walmart, Jerry's Do It Center, Callahan's, anywhere
Right.
in Jackson County for that matter. You don't have to drive out of the county to get a smoke detector.
No.
So that would be what I would consider to be probably the most important safety device that you could have in your home would be a smoke detector. Next in line for me would be your carbon monoxide detectors.
Correct.
Now that's for folks that have propane or natural gas.
So let's talk about that for a moment. And God forbid, you hear of these horror stories of an entire family, losing an entire family
Certainly.
as they slept away.
Right.
Um,
Obviously.
Thank God peacefully, but
Right.
because of carbon monoxide, because you can't smell it.
Nope.
You can't really feel it. You just go to
Can't.
sleep and that's it.
No smell, no taste, obviously no visual.
Right.
So it's a colorless, odorless gas that is extremely, extremely deadly. So
Where does it come from?
Where it comes from, most often would be from your furnace. For example, it's unburned gas, improperly burned gas. So when you look at a flame on a kitchen stove,
Yes.
it's blue.
Yes.
Same goes for your furnace.
Yes.
But in a furnace, a lot of times a heat exchanger will crack, and it will cause that combustion to not be complete. So you'll have an orange flame and in a swirly motion, and that can cause carbon monoxide poisoning.
Okay.
So those are the things that you want to worry about. So to prevent that, a simple carbon monoxide detector would be the simple fix. And then if that goes off, keep in mind, that's another good thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Is it doesn't just chirp. When these detectors go off, smoke detector, carbon monoxide detector, they're going to go off and stay on.
When it's the real deal,
When
it's
it's the
not
real
going to
deal,
give you
right.
relief. It's going to annoy the heck out of you.
When they chirp means that either the sensor is bad or you need new batteries.
Okay.
More times than none, your carbon monoxide detectors do plug into electricity, 110 power,
Yes.
and have a battery backup. You can buy battery carbon monoxide detectors.
Yes.
They do exist. There's nothing wrong with them.
The one I have at my house, I have two. They just plug into the wall, actually.
Right.
So
Perfect.
And the great thing about that, you can travel with it.
Right.
Which is really smart.
Yeah, take it with you.
Yeah.
Good idea. I actually never thought about
Put one
that.
in your suitcase. You can buy them on Amazon or locally for not
Sure.
very much money, and put one in your suitcase. And if you're staying in an Airbnb or something like that,
That's a great idea.
plug it in.
Perfect idea.
Yep.
Yeah, take it with you. Because you don't know until you get there, right? If it's gas or electric.
Correct.
Airbnb, that makes a lot of sense. But those two detectors, in my opinion, will be the top two, on my list. And then
And they make combo ones too.
they do.
Strangely
Yep,
enough.
they do, which is not, for example, like let's say you have a newer home that you're having built. Let's say you're having one built now. We would recommend that you would get hardwired smoke and carbon monoxide combination because those detectors talk to each other. They're all wired together in line.
Okay.
So if you have a detector that goes off in the back bedroom, it will make all of them go off in a series. So
That's brilliant. Okay.
it's louder. It gets your attention for sure. And those are usually smoke and carbon monoxide combination detectors.
Okay.
So
And why not do that?
absolutely. If you're building a
home.
house, that's what I would recommend. But if you already have a home that's built and you don't have that, that's okay.
Yeah.
Just buy multiple detectors, right?
Right. Where should they go in the home?
That is important.
Yeah.
That is kind of one of the common mistakes that is made, which you can call your local fire department. Any fire department in Jackson County will be happy to help you out with that or, give you advice on where to put them.
Oh,
Some of the departments in the county have a program where they get detectors from the state of Ohio, and then we go out and install them. It's for low income applicants.
Sure.
But that detector, the best location at a minimum is one per floor.
Okay.
Okay, so if you have a 2-story home, you want at least one on each floor. Hallways are fantastic. Close to the kitchen, but not like in the kitchen because you're going to set it off quite often depending on how good of a cook you may be.
Correct.
Right.
And it can be very humbling when the smoke detector goes off during
Right.
Thanksgiving.
That's correct.
It's a little embarrassing.
Yeah, but it happens. It's happened in my home. It happens everywhere.
It does.
But no, in what we call gathering areas, living room,
Okay.
my home, I have them in the bedrooms. That's the way it was built.
I think mine are in the bedroom too. Yeah.
And they're probably all wired in a series. That's designed so that if the smoke detector goes off in the other end of the house and you're sleeping, your detector is going to go off for you. That's why they're in the bedroom.
Okay.
But if you don't have hardwired smoke detectors, you want to put those detectors where they're going to detect.
Sure.
So hallways and common living areas would be where you want to put them.
Okay.
So that's kind of important. And then
Also, I know my
Yeah.
security system, like my whatever it is, ADT or
Right.
whatever, they installed a smoke sensor,
Yep.
which is a whole other story. Don't ever bomb your house for fleas and not cover that up.
Yes.
Because
Well-
the fire department randomly shows up at your house because they think that it's a fire. Because it
Well,
thinks that it's a fire. And
Yes.
yeah, that happened to me once, except for thank God I intercepted them and called them and told them not to come. But anyway,
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because
but that's good.
a lot of the confusion about smoke detectors is folks think that smoke detectors detect smoke. That is not actually what happens with that sensor. I'm not. We talked about me being not too smart. I don't know the
Whatever.
actual terminology.
Listen,
I'm
we're
not a
not
scientist.
smoke detector scientists
We're
or
not scientists,
engineers.
no.
So
Or engineers, correct. But what happens? That detector does not know the difference between dust or
like a
flea
particle
bombing
from-
or whatever you're having done. So it just notices something that's thicker than air. So dust or smoke or spray paint, spray paint can, all of those things, it doesn't know the difference. So when something passes the eye of that sensor, it's going to detect.
Yeah. So when you're sitting outside at your outdoor bar waiting for the air to dissipate and
Right.
the fire department shows up, it's not good.
It's not always a fire. So,
Yeah.
but no.
And it's not funny either.
No, it can be serious.
No.
Those are the most important parts to safety devices to have in your home. And then
Yeah,
I
for
would
sure.
put a fire extinguisher.
There you go.
Real close
James has
second,
got-
third. There we go. Yes. So now here's where things get difficult in a home where the family likes beautiful gadgets in the house, right?
Yes.
Like pretty decor.
Yes.
A 10-pound red fire extinguisher is not very pretty in the kitchen.
No, it is not.
It is
Hanging
not.
on a wall
No.
somewhere.
I mean,
No, it does
now,
not. I mean,
if-
you could paint it, I guess.
You could. If I
Put
had
flowers on it, or
I would like to hang mine in the kitchen, but I've not won. I'm not going to win that.
you don't
battle.
want a divorce,
No,
do you?
I do
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Most fire extinguishers, and this is probably 99% of the time, end up under the kitchen sink.
Yep.
And then as time goes on, we push it to the back of the kitchen sink, and then it disappears.
It's
And
not
then you
accessible.
don't realize you have it. Correct. So, coming up with a good place to put the fire extinguisher for your kitchen is important
Okay.
because it is important to have a fire extinguisher. We have a lot of fires each year from cooking.
Oh, for sure.
Um,
And that's like we were joking earlier, but it's a thing.
it is a thing.
Like I'll be honest with you, I've a couple of times
Sure.
scared myself.
Everyone. I mean,
Yeah.
from not putting the water in the Easy Mac, right, and put it in the microwave, and we catch that on fire.
Don't you laugh, James. We've all done it.
I haven't done that one, but I did catch a steak on fire one time.
Hey,
That's
well,
super easy to do too.
So you like your steak well done, then, right?
Well, that was a bit more than I was going for.
Well, it happens like we mentioned, and for example, this I've had this happen in my career. Folks will deep fry French fries in a pan on the stove, okay,
Oh boy, yeah.
and they feel like those fries are done.
Uh-huh.
And from the restaurant industry, you understand this.
Yes.
They take the pan and set it to the back, and then they're going to finish something else.
Okay.
What they don't realize is that oil is going to be hot for how long, right?
A long time.
Those fries are going to continue to cook
Yes.
until they catch on fire, even though they've turned the heat off, right?
Okay.
So there's so many accidents waiting to happen in the kitchen,
Yeah.
and a fire extinguisher is important. But even equally as important is knowing how to use that fire
Okay.
extinguisher. Yeah,
We should do that sometime.
We should.
You should bring props.
we should. We can bring props,
And,
we have an easy 4-letter word that we can use.
Okay.
We can talk about today.
Yeah.
It's called PASS, PASS.
Okay.
And I'm sure he might be able to find this for you on the interwebs. I'm sure it's there. So pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. That's what it stands for. So you're
Okay,
gonna
makes sense.
Pull the pin on the fire extinguisher. You're going to aim it at the base of the fire, not straight at it. You don't want to blow that steak into the living room and catch the curtains on fire.
That it's already on fire.
It's already on fire, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to squeeze at the base of the fire, and then we're going to sweep it back and forth until we extinguish it, and then we're done. But we need to have placed a phone call in there somewhere to the fire department, like 911.
So, like, this is kind of serious.
It is.
So, as we're kind of having fun with this, I mean,
Right.
it is serious. And how do you know when to call the fire department and when to not call the fire department?
I tell folks that,
because you don't want to be like,
I'll be honest with you.
bugging the fire department.
No,
but
here's what happens, and I'm sure you've had this happen in your life. When you,
there you go.
yeah, see, pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. So when you subconsciously in your mind, when something happens in your life, the first thing you think of is, should I call a squad? Should I call the fire department?
Yes.
You do think that.
Yeah. Should I call the police?
And then we don't. So when your brain tells you that, that's when you do it. That's what I tell
Don't
people.
ask the question. Just do it.
Just do it, because believe me,
Okay.
we don't get, you're not bothering us. I get that all the time. I'm so sorry to bother you today.
Well, that's how I would feel.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
and
I'm so
then you
sorry to
feel
ruin your day.
stupid too. Like, I can't believe I just caught a steak on fire.
Right. So for us, we're there waiting on
I just
accidents.
dumped it in the sink and turned the water on, and it was fine. I didn't need the fire department.
And that's okay too.
Did you or did you not eat the steak?
Of course, I ate it.
It was really cooked on one side.
I mean, it wasn't good, but
I would have ate it.
I wasn't going to cook something else. I'd already cooked that.
A waterlogged
would've ate
steak, awesome.
Right.
But anyway,
But no, you call 911. That's what I
Okay.
tell people. Those folks that are going to come, that is what they do. That's what they want to do.
sure.
You're not ruining their day. You're actually, in a weird sort of way, they're glad that they're coming to help someone.
You're making their day
You're
because
making
they're
their day.
there to help.
They're there to help. It's talked about. We don't talk about it much in public, but we not that we want people to have an emergency, but they do want to practice on
Right.
the real thing. So I say that with all due respect to individuals, but that you're not ruining their day.
Okay.
So it's okay to call 911 and get those individuals out to your home.
Or
to help
even, the operator can walk you through something too, maybe perhaps if, it's like,
We have great dispatchers.
or you can say, oh, I got it out. And then by that point, okay, then they can.
Sure. A lot of
say-
times they'll try to cancel. They'll say,
Yeah.
the dispatcher will mark us on the radio and say the individual called back. They've got it out. They don't need you.
Yeah.
Usually we go ahead and roll on in.
Just check on them anyway.
Yeah, just to
That's
make sure.
smart. Yeah.
Yeah, just to make sure. But yeah,
I was just thinking, I know that they have okay, number one, if fire extinguishers are unsightly. So we all know that. But they're very, very important. Everybody has either a coat closet when you walk in your door
Mm-hmm.
or a pantry or something with a shelf right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like just make it a place.
give it a home.
It's very, very important. So give it a special place
Correct.
and don't, push it back or whatever,
Sure.
put under the sink. I mean, my God, if it got under my sink, it'd be 10 minutes before I got it out of there.
Me too.
Need to
Right.
do a little organization on that. But they also have, I know that they have at Callahan Hardware, because I've seen it, I'm sure everywhere else in town too, like a spray can that
You
is
do? Yes.
like a fire extinguisher.
Sure.
Now, does that work?
Yeah. I mean, whatever you feel comfortable trying to, and let's say
It would
that-
take up a little less space, I guess.
Right. Let's say you have a kitchen fire and you don't feel comfortable trying to put it out. That's fine too. Again, place that phone call to 911 and
Okay.
let us do our job.
Okay.
But the small ones are fine too. Yes. In a residential part in southeastern Ohio, we do not have any building standards. In the restaurant industry, you did because
Yeah.
you're in a place of assembly, a public entity.
Yes.
And you had to have those beautiful 10-pound red extinguishers hanging all over the
Yes,
walls.
and the great big one, the silver one,
The silver
that
one
puts
for the
out
kitchen.
kitchen
Right.
fires and all
Correct.
that. Thank you, John, for taking care of all of that.
He is fantastic, by the way. You can call that guy for all of your fire extinguisher needs for sure.
Yes, if you, just call John's fire
Yeah, just call
extinguisher.
John's.
Yeah, he'll take care of you.
But in homes, there is no code, right?
Right.
Unless it's a rental. But if it's just your home, you can do whatever you want with
Sure.
that fire extinguisher. So put it where you know where it's going to be,
Okay.
where you can get your hands on it in a quick, reasonable amount of time without digging through suitcases and vacuum sweepers and all of that.
Yes.
But
Question.
sure.
How much of a fire will a normal standard house fire extinguisher put out?
You would be very surprised. An ABC fire extinguisher, the red ones you see hanging on the wall, those are designed to put out anything. So I'm going to go through the eight. This is the Ryan Pelletier way of remembering things. So
Love it.
Bear with me, everyone. ABC. So I say so A stands for ash. Okay, so anything that produces an ash, paper, wood, that would be. So B, things that boil. What boils? A liquid, right? So
Sure.
a liquid fire. So that ABC would put out a small grease fire for that matter. And then current, C for current. So electrical fire. So those ABC red fire extinguishers will put out those types of fires.
Okay.
And then that metal one you talked about in your restaurant,
Yes.
those K fire extinguishers, those are really designed for commercial grease fires, big grease fires. Like when you've got, how many gallons would go in I don't know.
Oh God. I don't even
15
know. 50,
probably.
more
3
than that,
buckets,
probably.
3 5-gallon buckets or whatever, 15, 20 gallons. You're going to need something
This is
specifically
like
designed
specifically for grease. Plus, you have your Ansel systems that come down that are spraying on top
Right.
of
Absolutely.
that. But that's a supplement to
Sure.
that. So, and if you've never seen one of those go off, try
That's a
cleaning
mess.
that up. That's
a
fun.
mess.
But anyway,
But those ABC extinguishers will extend. They take the oxygen away from the fire. Is what they do.
okay.
So it's a white powder that you're going to know when you do it. You're going to taste it for a couple days.
And you're going to have a mess on your hands, probably.
You're going to
but
have
it's
a
better
white
than-
film at the farthest crack away from it in your house, everywhere. It'll get, and that's okay. It's easy to clean up. But that's what it does. It smothers the fire.
Okay.
So it will do quite a bit.
Okay.
A simple residential home fire. Now, when that fire gets up into your cabinets and into your wall, different story. We really need to be on our way.
Yes.
That's why I say it's vital
Just
that we
call.
make that phone call. Right. And only do what you feel comfortable doing, because you're going to have smoke. You're going to have that Ansel powder. You're going to have a lot of things going on that's going to be tough to see. You're going to, it's really,
Well, yeah, and it gets
plus you're in shock. You've got all this excitement.
and it gets to the point where you need to like get your family members the heck out of
Absolutely.
the house. Like you don't.
So
wanna...
we don't spend a lot of time talking about, stay in there, try to get it out. We're not
Run,
pushing,
man, run.
we're not pushing that. Like I said, only what you feel comfortable doing. So we do teach, which we'll get into that, our academy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll get to there eventually, but we do teach a lot of fire extinguisher classes to industries in Ohio. We go to different companies, nursing homes,
Okay.
and we teach their employees how to put out fires with fire extinguishers. So,
That's smart.
yeah, it's a real simple class. 2 hours, you're done. But we've had a lot of feedback that they're like, yeah, I really learned a lot from that class.
Well, and it sounds like, I can see where people are like, I don't need a class to like pull a pin out and squeeze
Yeah.
a fire extinguisher. But I can't imagine the peace of mind that you would have knowing that you'd already done that and tried it. And then
Right.
there's a method to the madness.
Have you ever been driving? This could be scary because this happens to me, but have you ever been driving and you're like, I don't remember driving here?
Correct.
I was kind of like in automatic mode, right?
Yeah. Like I don't remember leaving my house to
Right.
point A to point B. Somehow I got to point B and I don't remember. We've all done that.
Absolutely. Technically, you were there. You were with it. You were just in kind of an automatic mode because you've done it so much that your brain is trained to do it, right?
This is why I still drive to the radio building occasionally downtown.
That happens too. But that's what happens, and unless you practice or get familiar with it, then you think that that's simple until you're in an emergency situation where we're full of adrenaline, right?
Sure.
And then our brain takes over, and if it doesn't know what it's supposed to do, that's when we have issues. So
Yeah.
you want to kind of practice, or now that we have the internet, we could watch it on. We could
watch YouTube videos
of folks putting out fires, which would be great. So
Right on.
yeah.
Okay. Well, very good. So there is Fire Safety 101 brought to you
Yes.
by Wellston Fire Chief Ryan Pelletier.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's very important to talk about all of that stuff because, it's all things that we take for granted that, you're not going to have a fire in your house or just throw some salt on it or, it'll be fine. And everyone should have a fire extinguisher.
Everyone should
Speaking
have one.
of fire extinguishers, you mentioned that they're like kind of ugly hanging on your wall.
Mm-hmm.
Have you encountered these designer fire
Whoa,
extinguishers?
See,
I
I
have
see.
not.
I say you paint
is
them.
this a legitimate option?
Hey, it's like
Hey,
I
you
said,
can
you
paint
can
it
do what
wherever
you
you
want.
want.
Absolutely, I've seen them. I've been into craft malls where they've made these fancy, nice wooden holders that cover up the extinguisher.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Rather it be out and accessible.
Sure. Whatever makes you feel comfortable that you can still know where it is.
James, that's a new market for us. We could come up
We
with
could sell advertisements on fire extinguishers.
or we could come up with wraps, and Zip could
Yeah,
do them, and we
that's true.
could wrap people's fire extinguishers.
There are some funny ones on here.
That's not a bad idea.
When you give it a
I know.
search. Here, let me show you another one. Give me just
I
a
was
second.
thinking about something to make some money.
Yeah, if you Google this, you're going to find some funny ones.
So there you go. I mean, it's kind of like your your giant LP gas tank that's unsightly. It's sitting out in the middle of your yard.
Yes.
Like I asked the dude when he put ours in, I was like, can I paint it? He's like, you can do whatever you want. He's like, you would not believe the things that people paint on these
I
things.
can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some good ones.
Oh, it's a whiskey bottle.
Yeah.
Bottle of wine,
I like that.
fishbowl.
Perfect.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, one more question about the fire extinguishers.
Sure.
Then we'll move on to the actual fire department
no
and talk
problem.
about why, what you guys do and some of
Yeah.
the things. If somebody does, God forbid, have to use their fire extinguisher,
Mm-hmm.
do you throw that away or does it get refilled? What do you do with
It
that?
depends. If it's a 10-pound, and 5-pound, which you can read on the container.
Okay.
Yeah.
No!
Safety tomato ketchup.
Safety tomato ketchup. I love it.
I like it. That's a
See?
great market.
It's all thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
James, we're going to go meet with Stacy here in a little bit.
All right.
Okay.
She's going to love this idea.
Yeah, she's going to think it's fantastic. Anyway,
John's fire extinguisher. I mean, he's the guy. He
Yeah,
fills
so
them, tests them.
you could take it to
You
him
can take
and
it
he
to
can
John.
refill
He's
it.
the
if
only individual in Jackson County that I know of that deals with fire extinguishers.
Yeah.
So he knows way more about them than I could ever imagine.
Yeah.
And I call him quite frequently for questions.
Yes. Good dude.
Yeah, great dude. Yep.
Okay. All right. So you can refill them
You can.
for the most part.
The ones that are certain, the little tiny ones, no,
Right.
just go get another one.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And do go get another one.
Yeah. Please.
Yes. Please, please.
So maybe you answered this already. So you have one under your sink in your kitchen or whatever. How long does that last before you?
So
need
there's
it?
a little.
Just before it expires.
Oh, that's a good question.
The little tiny ones that Jennifer mentioned that does not have a gauge on it
Mm-hmm.
usually have an expiration date on it that you would go get another one. But if you see the little gauge on the front, and you had that last picture you had up had one, can you see the top of that
Yeah,
extinguisher?
you see that little tiny gauge
So
that's like
there's-
round up the top.
Yeah, there's a red bar on each side and green in the middle. The black needle needs to be in the green. Green for go, green for good. If it's either to the left or to the right, then it needs either charged or serviced, and that's where you would take it to, like a John's fire extinguisher.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So it just needs to be in the green. All of them are in the green.
Green means go. Green means good. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. And, if you do have a business or something like that, call John. Like he just comes and does
Yeah,
it.
It's
like
kind of amazing.
He's like an enigma. I don't know.
Once you start with him, he just shows up next year and takes care of them.
But the great thing about John is, this is totally a plug for him, but
Absolutely.
he, if you have a business, all your exit signs, all of the things that are required for fire safety from the state, from the federal government,
That we
all of
forget
that
about.
stuff that you forget about, or you
Mhm.
don't even have a clue how to change, he comes in and he checks all that stuff
That's
and
correct.
he fixes any batteries that need replaced or lights that need replaced or anything like that. Plus fills the fire extinguishers and all that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Sounds
So
great.
it's a good thing. Okay, fire department.
Yeah.
Wellston Fire Department. You all are part volunteer, mostly volunteer,
Correct.
part paid.
Right.
But the cool thing about that you guys do is you have your own fire academy too.
We do.
That's
Yes.
really neat.
Since 2014, we started our own
That's
academy.
A good picture.
First one in this region. Now, you have career centers like Buckeye Hills,
Okay.
Pickaway Ross, Pike, the Ohio Fire Academy in Columbus, which is a fantastic facility up there, the State Academy.
Okay.
But we, during fiscal emergency, if you remember that time frame for the city of Wellston,
Yes, I do.
we had to come up with an idea to try to bring in more revenue into the fire department. So Aaron Dupree, my assistant chief at the time, worked for the Ohio Fire Academy, and he said, "Hey, let's start an academy."
Okay.
And I said, "Yeah, that's just
Well, like, there's no
we'll
way.
We'll just turn on a switch and start training people." And we had several instructors on our department at the time that taught for the state and taught for different folks.
Oh, okay.
And Wellston was very blessed with. We had firefighters. No, you're fine. We've had a lot of we've had a lot of firefighters that worked for like Westerville and Portsmouth, Savannah, Georgia, different larger departments that have brought all that knowledge back to us.
Oh,
so we were
that's
able
great.
to learn a lot about how larger cities do this. So we worked really hard. Aaron helped us put it together, and with the administration at the time, Tom Baker was our auditor. And we put this thing together, and we started training. We thought we had big dreams. We were going to teach in Ohio. There's 3 certifications for firefighters. There is your 36-hour basic volunteer firefighter training,
Okay.
and then firefighter 1, which is 120 hours, and then firefighter 2, which is another 120 hours.
Gotcha.
So when you're done, you would have 240 hours, what they call professional firefighter level. That's as high as you can go.
Okay.
As far as
Training
initial
wise.
certificate, right?
Yeah.
You always train. You train forever.
Right.
But we thought we would teach that academy 240 class. Turns out there was more of a need for that volunteer 36. So that is
Gotcha.
kind of our bread and butter now. We teach that. We didn't realize the market that we would have. We have folks that come from Akron, from all over Ohio. They come down for our class,
Oh, wow.
and we do that class in 2 weekends. That's kind of why I think that we
Makes it
we get
convenient
in
for
and
them.
out. Yeah, we get in and out, and it works well. So our academy started out for 3 years. We were teaching there at the old MedFlight location where our Station 2 is now,
Yeah.
where MedFlight used to be.
Uh-huh.
And then we applied for capital monies with Ryan Smith, and we were able to get a $500,000 burn building, no charge to the city of Wellston at all
Wow.
on capital money.
That's amazing.
The city administrations we were lucky enough they gave us a piece of property that the city owned out by the schools, and we built this 5-story burn building where we do live fire training and search and rescue and repelling and
So a burn building is like a simulator.
yeah, it's a building that we light fires in
But
safely.
it doesn't burn down?
It does not burn down. No, it's made of,
Wait,
it is
why?
metal.
Okay, I have a question.
there's a picture of it on our webpage, I believe.
If you can build a building like that doesn't burn down, why isn't every building like that?
Well, right.
this is a catch-22.
It's a catch-22. Yes, this building is built of inner cargo containers, the ones that ship from
Shipping containers.
all over the country or all over the world. It's put together like a jigsaw puzzle.
Uh-huh.
And inside that building is stainless steel with insulation between the outside metal and the inside metal, with ventilation doors that we can open and close and control the environment. And we burn pallets and straw in there. We obviously have an EPA permit we get every year.
Yes.
And that building has to be inspected every 5 years
Oh, for sure.
for integrity and make sure it's safe, which
Oh,
there's a
wow.
picture of it. Yeah.
That is so cool.
So that facility, located in southeastern Ohio, the major goal was to be able to get fire departments in this region to be able to train together.
Love that.
So you think about it, Liberty, Scioto, Hamilton, Madison, Jefferson, all these folks, they can train at the station. They can train cutting cars open, but it's really hard to get that whole department up to Columbus to a burn building
Right.
and try to train together, right?
Sure.
The EPA, rightfully so, has made it very difficult to burn a house. We used to burn houses years ago.
I
right?
remember that. Yeah.
So we would get a house, we would take the shingles off of it and all the asbestos, and then we would burn it, which is kind of dangerous, I might add. Which is kind of why they've dummied that
well,
down
it's
a
kind
little
of
bit.
win-win though, because if you needed a property that needed
yeah,
destroyed,
right.
it
Yes.
was the easier way to do it. But
in the United States, we were killing firefighters in trainings like that
Yeah,
because
that's
you don't
not
know
okay.
the integrity of the house. And usually, if you're burning a house, it's because the folks are done with it, right?
right.
So
It's in
usually-
bad shape.
Usually something wrong with it. So getting this facility in Jackson County was a win for everyone.
Sure.
That's what we believe. So we do have departments that'll spend the day and they'll come and train there, and they're not far from their respected area,
Right.
So it works out.
Let's talk about. I think one of the coolest things, and I didn't know this until I think Dave Channel was the first one to tell me about it, chief of the Jackson Fire Department.
Yep.
And that is that, we have a thing now, and you can tell me what the official name is.
Sure.
But all the fire departments in our area work together now. So, like, somebody goes out on a call, then somebody else covers their department, and so on and so forth.
That's
or
correct.
they call and they go out together or whatever. So that training together is so very important. But talk for a minute about why that's important.
I'd love to.
Because everybody's helping everybody out, and isn't that so
Sure.
cool?
It's great. Dave Channel was very instrumental in getting that. We've always had what's called mutual aid amongst all of the departments in Jackson County. So we could,
How many departments are there?
is it 7? That's a good question. You caught me off guard.
Put him on the spot.
Put me on the spot. So we got, let's just do this here. We have Bloomfield, Colton, Jackson, Liberty, Wellston, Madison, Jefferson, Hamilton, Scioto. 8. Sorry. 8 great departments. We always have mutual aid, so you could call mutual aid anytime you needed it. The neat thing about what we have now is called automatic aid. And I get a lot of questions about this.
Yeah.
So folks will ask me, hey, Ryan, I saw you had a call today and there was like 50 fire trucks and 900 firefighters. And did you need all those folks, right? Yes, we did. Because in the United States, what governs us is NFPA. That is the standards that we follow. So for every house fire that we have, we are required to have 13 firefighters minimum at a fire. And
Well, how do you do that when half the departments don't have that many firefighters total?
that's why we use automatic aid.
Okay.
So automatic aid takes the question away from the department. When someone calls 911 and says my house is on fire, the dispatcher does it for us now. They send departments to that call without us asking for it now.
I see.
So I had yesterday. I had an alarm. It was a smoke detector that went off in a residence that was at ADT, like you.
Yes.
It was a false alarm. However, I had Bloomfield and Jackson on the way, so I had 9 firefighters total coming to this call in the middle of the day when everybody's working.
Right.
It was a false alarm, and we were able to cancel everybody. However, had I needed those folks, they were already on the road,
Yes.
already on the way. And that's the most important part.
It is.
Sure, you'll see calls where there's 5, 6 fire trucks there, but that's not a bad thing. That's actually that's not wasting
Wouldn't you rather have
resources.
too many than not
Absolutely,
enough?
yes, because you don't know. Every emergency is different. There's no one emergency that is the same.
No.
So we have to use what tools we have in our toolbox, and that's what we have. So automatic aid is new to Jackson County.
That's wonderful, though.
It's been in existence for 50 plus years in Ohio. So when you go to Franklin County, for example, Columbus, they've been using automatic aid for a very long time. So it's not unusual to be in Reynoldsburg and see Columbus and Westerville and Whitehall all at a call in Reynoldsburg. So This is not a new thing. It's just new for us, so it takes some getting used to. But
Well, and that puts a lot of pressure on the dispatchers too, because
It
they
does.
have to organize all of that.
it is a tough job. So we have what's called box assignments. So when you call 911 and they enter that address into the computer, it tells them what box they need to alert
Okay.
and what we want. For example, maybe I want Jackson to bring their ladder truck to Wellston,
Okay.
and it'll say that on the card. So when
Something
they look
very
at
specific.
it, they'll set everybody's tones off and tell them what they need, and then we all go to
Makes
work.
sense.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yes,
Great.
it works great.
I mean, that's so, it's like, as just a normal, everyday citizen of the area, we don't think about the things that you get out and do, which
Right.
are insane, by the way. But it's good to know. And that's obviously peace of mind of the residents of our area to know that you all are out there and
Certainly.
there will be numerous people coming to the rescue. And speaking of that, let's talk about how many calls that you go on, because I almost fell out of my chair when, you think about, the fire department, you think y'all just sit around, eat chili and, play cards.
Which we do.
And whatever,
yeah.
which, they do.
We do.
But, you'd think in our area, they go days without
Sure.
having a call because there's not, it's Jackson County. We're boring, right?
No, actually, we're not. So,
Not so much.
Jackson County is very interesting. You have two large highways that run right through. You have 35 and 32, and
Yes.
you have State Route 93, and all these state routes that come right through here.
Yes.
When you have a lot of precious cargo that comes through this county, so there's a lot of things that we have to prepare for.
Okay.
So, with that being said, we've dabbled in a lot of different things: water rescue, hazmat. We've got a lot of those resources that we've funded from a state and federal level that we have
Sure.
in our county. So we're pretty proud of that. We've got the Region 7 water rescue team in Wellston. We have the Region 7 hazmat team now
Okay.
located in Wellston, which is a county resource that we're keeping up and going. So there's a lot of things that we may not see us use often, but we have to be prepared for. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And how many calls about a year?
600, 560, somewhere around in there. Of course, it varies, but
There's only 365 days in a
Right.
year. That means
That's
you're not
correct.
sitting around eating chili every day.
No, we're not. So we have a
Wow.
lot of first responder calls where we assist Jackson County EMS with EMS calls.
Okay, so that would be like a traffic accident or
Right. What we respond on what's called ALS, advanced life support calls, which would be choking, heart attack, trouble breathing, stroke,
Okay.
car accidents, anything with trauma.
Yes.
And we respond to assist Jackson County EMS on those calls. Jackson County EMS is limited on resources, especially now, which we all are.
Yeah.
It's tough to get folks to want to do this for a living now. But with their 3 trucks in the county, they're busy.
Yeah.
Jackson County is very busy. So when those trucks are currently treating a patient and another call comes in, and we're not the only department in the county that first responds. There are others. But we, being the Wellston is it's a city. It's not small. So we have a lot of folks we got to take care of. So we first respond. Last year we had like 160 of
Wow.
those first responder calls.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that isn't cheap, right?
It is not cheap. We actually don't get paid for those.
Yeah.
I cannot bill for those. So
Correct.
those are strictly volunteer
Right.
calls.
So speaking of volunteers, are you needing folks to join
Always.
the fire department? I know Jackson definitely does.
Every department does.
Every department
if
does.
anyone comes in here that's involved in public safety and tells you that they're good, they're telling you a story.
Yeah.
In 1996, let's after 9/11,
Sure.
I witnessed that with my own eyes. After 9/11, we had like 15 people apply to get on the fire department. We gained some very good individuals.
People got real patriotic.
They got real
around that
patriotic that time.
time. Sure.
The fire service, EMS, police, it's a thankless job. However, those individuals are not involved for a thank you. Okay, that's not why they're doing
No.
it. But after 9/11, it got kind of crazy. people started having fundraisers and for local fire departments, and we weren't even involved in 9/11, right? So it was a complete turnaround, and our numbers were up as far as volunteers. It was not hard. We always had applications that we could pull and call individuals, and that's not really the case with any of us now.
Okay.
Where we're having a hard time getting folks to want to do this. What helps my department, I believe, is our academy.
Yeah.
So I'm fortunate to have that. But the other departments around me, I completely get it. Like it's tough.
It's tough.
Yeah.
And listen, times have been crazy lately. And, the last thing, we're all just trying to survive this stupid pandemic, let alone going out and risking your life every day, to save others. And you have to be the right person. You hear that whole thing of, do you run to the fire or from the fire? Like,
Sure.
You don't know what kind of person you are until you're put in that position. Right. So that dwindles down.
It does.
Your applicants also. Because
I don't blame them.
Some people may say, you know what? I fully expected myself to be a person that runs to the fire, and I froze and fell over.
It was difficult,
can't do it.
Especially with COVID-19.
Yeah.
Everyone, rightfully so, started thinking of themselves.
Right.
Including all of emergency and myself.
Sure.
Well, I don't really want to go to work today. What if I get a call and I have to respond to a house that has COVID, and then I'm going to take that home with me? I'm going to give that to my kids, my wife, my parents. So
I think we're a little bit smarter about the whole thing now. But
we are. But at the time, it was kind of scary.
Yeah.
So we definitely didn't have anyone applying.
No.
During that time frame. But that was kind of another realization that we went through. We are putting ourselves in a tough spot. So I think that's hurt our numbers in southeastern Ohio. I know our fire marshal for the state, he's really working hard to try to figure. It's a statewide, it's a country issue.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially for police, no one is wanting to be a police officer right now. So we're all struggling. So we're trying to find ways to market. Like today, I'm here talking about the fire. We're trying to find something to spark an interest, which we'll go into that too. About we're actually teaching a class in the high school right now.
What?
Yeah, so that's kind of
now
cool.
That is awesome.
Right. So I want to say 3 years ago, and you could help me with this maybe. All the schools, something changed. They started doing electives where you could take I know Vinton County had a CPR class. If you went to Vinton County High School, you could take CPR.
Which is so brilliant. Basic life skills. It's
right.
fantastic.
Life skill classes.
Where was that when we were in school?
Certainly. So we partnered with the schools, Wellston City Schools, and we're teaching. You remember me mentioning to you the Firefighter 1 level training, the 120? So we, on the second semester of the school year, we go in 1 hour a day to the high school. And my two assistant chiefs are the main spearheads of this, and they teach that Firefighter 1 hour a day, every day. So when you graduate high school, you're only a senior. You have to be a senior. You will also get your Firefighter 1 certification, be able to test for it.
Wow.
So that is one thing that I think is going to help. Obviously, that'll create a spark in someone's career, hopefully.
Yeah.
We're doing scholarship each year. Myself and Chris Johnson, director of EMS, we
love Chris.
We do together a joint scholarship where we give out. I do a free firefighter 1 and 2 certification, and he does an EMT basic certification. So for free, that individual could start a career in public safety anywhere in Ohio at $60,000-$70,000 a year. So we're trying to get that interest started. So we'll see.
I love that. And I think it's kind of like the trade schools and, the Buckeye Hills and all of the other ones around here. I love that kids can graduate high school and have a career, have that skill set that they can go straight to work if they want to.
Yep.
I mean, that's That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's really cool. So yeah, so you could leave and be a firefighter, and and when Dave was here, obviously we love to keep our youth and people around this area, but he was saying, you can get trained around here, you can work here for a few years. There are career firefighters.
Absolutely.
You can go to the big cities and make money, and that's your job, and you can do that right out of high school.
Yep.
That's pretty neat.
That's what we're trying to find. I call those the 30-year firefighters I'm looking for. I'm looking for those folks that want to make a family in Wellston.
Sure.
And they're going to live here for 30, for the rest of their life, and we can get them to be a part of our family. And that's kind of how we try to find our fire department folks.
Sure.
But it's tough right now.
It is. So what do you need as a fire department, Ryan, just to, and I guess you could speak for other fire departments too. I'm sure it's all kind of relative.
Oh, yeah. We all meet monthly. All the chiefs in the county meet every month. I don't make as many of those as I would like to. But we all talk. We all get along great. We all need money. I hate to say that. That's the truth. An average fire truck today, a new truck is $560,000.
Did you say that again?
$560,000. That's just for a basic engine or pumper, whatever you want to call it. A ladder truck is $1.2 million.
Oh my gosh.
So here's an add-on question to that.
Sure.
If you were to order one of those trucks today, how long would it take you to actually get it?
Well, you're looking at 18 months. Because of COVID. That's what we're told.
Yeah, because everything's because of COVID.
Right. Parts, manufacturing, 1 year, 18 months. So you order a truck today, you're not going to get it for almost
a year and a half.
Yeah. Correct.
At least.
Right. And we're governed, or we're graded by all kinds of different, all of our equipment has to be tested. Our air packs, an air pack is $7,000. One air pack is $7,000.
Oh.
We have 28 of those. Not 28. I'm sorry. That's turnout gear. We have 15 air packs in the department that we recently got on a grant and a loan, a USDA loan that we obtained.
But loans you have to pay back.
Loans you have to pay back. Correct.
Yeah. Turnout
gear to equip a firefighter. You're looking at anywhere from $2,500 minimum to $4,000. That's your gloves, your helmet.
That's your
coat,
outfit.
Your outfit, yeah.
In girl terms, that's your outfit.
That's your outfit. That is the most important thing that a firefighter has to have.
Right.
So, and that's tough because you spend $4,000 on an individual. You send them to school, and then they're like, this isn't for me. And then now we're stuck with wrong size turnout gear for someone else. We got to try to. So it's really tough to try to keep 25 firefighters fully equipped, ready to go. 365 days a year, maintenance equipment, and it does take money.
Yes.
So you got to provide. But if you're going to provide a service like we try to do, and you're going to ask council for money, because I ask our city council and administration for a lot of money, and it's not because I want shiny new toys, as they like to tell me I'm asking for. I'm trying to get the best equipment that I can to protect, number one, the firefighters that work for us, and that rolls down to protecting the property of the people that we serve. So
sure,
and it takes money. I mean, it really does, and it's unfortunate, but it does.
And that's not just with the Wellston Fire Department; it's with all
Every
all fire
one of them.
department, all first responders, all of that
Yes.
stuff. It all takes money.
Bloomfield, Liberty, we're all the same. Takes the same gear, same equipment, same. Everyone rolls to the fire the same, so. Mm-hmm. It's really tough, and those folks I have more respect for who, a lot of, like Bloomfield apple butter. I mean, the majority of their money comes from apple butter. You know what I mean?
That's insane.
And they're really good at it, I might say.
But that's funny.
But that's how hard they work to try to get those dollars in. So it is tough to try to get the money to pay for this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're right.
But was that your question, James? I'm sorry, I might have.
Yes, you answered.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
It takes a long time to get anything right now.
Hey, I know we're getting kind of coming up on time, but
Yeah.
we did get one question that I thought was a pretty good one.
Sure.
Rick is asking for some safety tips for like chemicals and things that you might have stored in your garage, paints, gas, other chemicals.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Sure.
That's a good question.
It is a great question. The best thing that I could tell you to do would be to call your local fire department, okay? And then they have resources that they can call to just decide what to do with it. We've had folks do that to us before. Hey, I found a can of things that are rattling around in here and they don't look normal. Can you come take a look? And those were blasting caps for dynamite.
Oh.
But hey, listen, we have a resource in our back pocket.
Don't shake it.
You don't shake it, right? Call. We want you to call.
Yeah.
We want to come look. We called the Columbus Bomb Squad. They come down. They dispose of it for us.
Okay.
They use it for training or whatever. We have Hamilton County Bomb Squad that's 3 hours away that can come help us deal with those things. And with paint, a lot of times you can take that to the landfill. But we would need to see what kind of chemicals that we're talking about. But your
What
local
about
fire
just
department can
basic
help.
storage in your garage? I mean, you've got stuff in your garage. Is it okay just to stack paint cans on your shelves and
It is.
and
You just
whatever?
don't mix rags with it. That's what I would say. There's a place for your gasoline and a place for your paint, and they're usually not together. So
around flames?
yeah,
it would
and,
be.
and don't add rags or,
Yeah.
or material or wood in the mix of all that. But a lot of those things will leak in time.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that is a great question, and folks should be mindful of what they've got in their garage.
Sure.
Yeah.
Very good question. Thank you
Yeah.
for that. All right. Well, we have a couple of minutes left. Is there
Sure.
anything else you'd like to tell our viewers? I mean, I have one weird question for you.
Sure.
What is something strange that the fire department has gotten called out for that our viewers would not know?
Oh my. There are so
Cat
many.
in a tree?
We've done a cat in the tree. Absolutely.
Have you really?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. We go on a lot of strange calls, but none of them are calls that we would go back and say, oh, we shouldn't have been called for that. Right.
Okay.
Because here's how I define this is if someone is not breaking into your house or you're not bleeding to death, they call the fire department. Who else do you call? Right.
Right.
You don't call the police when you have a cat in a tree. You don't call EMS when you have a sewer main leaking under your house and you don't know what the smell is. And we get there and there's sewer line busted and that's all it was.
But you're smelling gas.
But you're smelling a gas. You're smelling
Sure.
something strange. So we get lots of interesting calls, but none of those are inappropriate. Right. Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, please, and this is just coming from me, please support your local, first responders, whether it be the fire department. And thank you for what you do.
Oh, I
because
appreciate you
guys-
having us on today.
Oh, you all are amazing. And so are all of our other,
They
local,
all are.
local
Absolutely.
people. But, police and all of that, I know, you can feel however you want to feel, but when you need them and they come out and they help you,
Yep.
you should appreciate that.
Absolutely. It's a service that we must have.
Mhm.
It does cost money for all of those that you just spoke about, but
Yes.
when you need them, you need them. When you don't,
Yep.
you don't think about it. But I understand.
That's right. And without money, y'all can't be out there helping people. So.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see. We don't have a cycle search clue anymore. I'm so lost. I'm so sad about that. Somebody had to go out and find it.
Hey, I can look for that now, right?
Yeah, I think so.
My dad doesn't work here anymore.
Correct.
I'll be on. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Do that
James and I were going to go out and look for it, but we knew that would all be, moot point. So we just decided it was probably not good.
Yeah.
Actually, we were convinced. We thought we were so smart. We were
No.
convinced we knew where it was. It
We were
wasn't
wrong.
even close.
We weren't even in the right county.
It wasn't even in the right county.
Well, hey.
Actually, we had two theories, and both of them were not even close.
Yeah, they were all pretty bad in retrospect.
Oh well. At
Well,
least you tried.
not really until things got whittled down.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have a theory.
Because they talk about, they were talking about big signs and things like that. So we're like, okay, where are their big signs? And,
Sure.
we were trying to be smart about it. But,
We were trying.
which is so funny because people are, texting me like, hey,
Where's it at?
What do you know?
What
Whatever.
do you
I'm like, dude, I don't know. We're horrible at this. And I'm reading the clues every day. So I still don't know.
And we cheated and looked ahead, and
we still couldn't figure it out. You're correct. So
Oh,
funny.
that's great.
All right. Well, Ryan, thank you for spending your time here with us today. Come
Thank
back
you.
if you want to put on a different hat.
Sure.
We'll
We got
talk
a couple
about
more
that.
we can do. Absolutely.
But of
I
course,
would appreciate it if next time you come, you actually wore a big fireman's hat.
You know, I thought about bringing you a helmet, so I'll put that on my list. I'll
All right,
get you.
very good.
You got to put it in here somewhere, though.
that's
We'll find
correct. Yes, we will put it in here, and we expect you to bring fire extinguishers so we can
We'll do it.
put the flames out on James.
Can you go outside?
Yeah, we can
Oh,
go
we can
outside.
do that.
Yeah,
We'll
can
do it.
spray
We'll do a field trip. Field trip.
Love it.
Stacy back in Zip got a bunch of new fire extinguishers the other day. There's
Perfect.
like 6 of them back there. It's like,
See?
We
what
just
do
need
they-
one.
What do they think you're gonna do back here that you need 6 of these?
Well, we just need one.
Well, we're gonna wrap them and sell them, right, James?
Yeah, I guess so.
That sounds
Cincinnati
great. Fire prevention.
Bengals.
We'll come back in October.
Yes.
Fire prevention month. How's that?
Yep.
A little cooler the time. We'll do a little. We'll put on a little display.
Love that.
Yeah.
Also, very, very quickly, what are you allowed to burn right now? What are the rules
There's a
on that
burn
right
ban
now?
until 6 p.m. So after
Okay.
6 p.m. at night, yes.
But you can't have a weenie roast if you want.
Yes, you can cook
Just
for food. Absolutely. Yeah.
Recreational fire,
Recreational. Call your local fire department to double
Yes.
check.
100%,
There are
and that's the
different
main
rules.
thing. And or let them know what you're doing. So if somebody sees
Yes.
a rando fire, they don't call them
That's
and
important.
they come out too.
Yeah.
So just let them know what you're doing.
Right.
Yep. Just communication's key.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Wellston Police Chief or Fire Chief Ryan Pelletier, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here today.
Appreciate you
And
both.
thank you for all that you all do
Thank you.
for our communities. And thanks to all the other first responders as well. So,
Yep.
all right. Have a great day, everyone. We will be back here tomorrow with
The Air Force.
the Air Force. Ooh,
That sounds really cool.
maybe he'll bring a plane and we can fly it.
Our parking lot might be big enough to land a helicopter,
It
but I don't
might
know
be.
about a plane.
They're on the roof of this building.
Yeah.
All right. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.